So hey, welcome to the first ever episode of Cosplay, Togs, and all things nerdy. I'm iPhoto UK,
Switch.
and yeah, welcome to the show. So we're going to start for anybody that doesn't know us, a little bit of an intro about ourselves, and then we'll move on to a little bit about the show itself. So, Switch, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, no worries. So I'm probably a bit newer at this than Darren by a few years. I started tugging at cons. I think it was October MCM in 2022. Always been playing around with cameras, a little here and there. Met my current partner, who then introduced me into cosplay. And then this is where Darren most likely a bit blush. I was doing a bit of cosplay and did a photo shoot with Darren. Really got the bug for it,
Remember that actually? Yeah.
sort of thing. So then, really enjoyed it. Started to pick up a camera again, and I thought, do you know what? It's just exciting. It's fun. So that's kind of where I started in the whole thing of cosplay photography for myself. So I've been doing it for a few years now. Really enjoying it. So yeah, that's a little bit about me and my little path here. But yeah, yourself.
My past a little bit longer. So I've been a
Mm.
photographer in total for about 27 years. Started at college and uni, got a degree, advertising, editorial photography. Been a cosplay photographer for 12 years ish. Um, so at the time, a model that I was shooting with quite regularly, she had a couple of cosplay outfits. First one I ever did was a sucker punch shoot. Um, Still remember it. Great shoot. And from then, I've kind of got the bug. Um, did the occasional little shoot, and then met someone through a sort of networking type event that I was part of for a little while. I was going to a lot of their events, and I met a good friend of mine, Olivia. Um, she was a cosplayer. She used to cosplay a lot of Harlequin stuff, and um, we sort of hit it off. Got on really well. We started shooting quite regular, and then 2017, she said, "Hey, why don't you come with me to MCM London?" So I did, um, and I've been shooting cons ever since. Really, first event was quite daunting. A lot of
Mm.
people I didn't know, um, and then yeah, I got a bit of a confidence boost because Olivia introduced me to someone else new, another photographer, who was sort of introduced to me as someone that looked up to my work and admired the work that I shot with Olivia. And that was Marcus, Man in Black Photography, who a lot of us know. And again, we became really good friends. And I think that sort of confident boost on my very first event really has a lot to play in sort of where I went and how I was able to sort of interact with people. And yeah, I spent a few years developing my own style, where I wanted to be within the cosplay scene. I shot a lot of stuff, fashion, boudoir, lingerie, even up to sort of like the more spicy levels at the time. And over a period of probably about 2 years, I kind of like ended up sliding full scale right over to the other end and now pretty much only shoot cosplay. But it's great fun. I have a sort of cinematic, vibrant, sort of neon style, if you like. A lot of people know I love my sort of cyberpunk, sci-fi kind of stuff. And yeah, that kind of evolved into myself and a few others coming up with the idea of Secret Con, and now we put on our own events. But we'll talk a little bit more about that in future shows.
Definitely.
Um, so yeah, that's a little snapshot of me, really. So yeah, we both come from different backgrounds. We've entered it into different ways. I think Switch, you really came into it through more the cosplay side, didn't you?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean,
Kind of evolved from there. And me is kind of I think I've had to go at cosplaying once, and that was extremely daunting, but extremely good fun. Definitely something I'll be doing again. But yeah, it's been fun.
it's definitely a thing that I get torn up because I enjoy shooting so much at a con, the interaction, the people, the cosplay, the whole environment is just it's like nothing ever, like nothing you really get in your day to day. So
No,
it's so much fun.
absolutely.
And I tell you what, I started. My very first con I went to was the first con straight after COVID. Had no idea what I was letting myself in for. I was with my other half. She was light cosplaying, and I was like, nah, shorts and t-shirt, that'd be fine for me. I'm not dressing up. God, no, I don't want to be weird. And I tell you what, I felt so out of place just walking around the convention hall in normal clothes, and I was like, right, I have to give
Absolutely.
this a go. So the next con I went to, I cosplayed. I went as Captain America. God, that first day, so daunting. But the love that you got from people and everything was just it. That was that moment I realized I was like, oh no, this is a lot of fun. This is
Definitely.
definitely bizarre. This is crazy.
It's
But it's like,
it's
wow.
almost like entering the ring as just someone completely different.
Mm,
Um, you can you get up in the morning. I know from my first time cosplaying, and spent ages trying to put the cosplay together, and then I was also cosplaying at one of my own events, which made it even more daunting for me. And then just from the first person that comes up to you and says, "Wow, you look amazing. Can I take some photos?" From that time forward, it's just on another level. It's great. The cosplay community can be a great place to be. It
mm.
can be very welcoming. There are some not so nice people in the community, but I think you get that everywhere.
Yeah, it's no matter where
Unfortunately,
you're at.
people often talk about the bad more than they talk about the good. Um, but the way I've seen the cosplay community change over the last few years, yes, there's been some negatives to the changes, but there's been some overwhelming positives. When I first did my first con as a photographer back in 2017, the Togs barely even spoke to each other. They were sort of like dotted around in their own
Mm,
little areas, and it almost felt like a bit of a competition. There was no community between them. And over a period of time, I think just before COVID, that really started to change. A few of us started to like get together for coffee on the morning of the con, and we started interacting more on socials, and then
mm,
COVID hit, and COVID actually brought a lot of us together. We were having group chats online, and I think it was just before what would have been Birmingham. I think March 2020.
mm,
Just kind of as a pandemic was hitting and everything was starting to shut down, and we were all like, "Is it going to get cancelled? Is it not going to get cancelled?" So a few of us formed like a group chat, and we were like, right, if it does get cancelled last minute, anyone that's got hotels, well, let's just get together and do a bit of a group shoot. That's before we all really knew sort of how bad it was going to be.
mm.
Um, and from that, really kind of started to form the community that a lot of the Togs have got now. And I think, there's a much more of a community feeling between the cosplayers and the photographers together as well. The networking is a lot better than it used to be.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, it's a great place to be.
Definitely is. That's one thing I can definitely say for coming into it a bit later, especially taking up photography. The whole photography community's been absolutely amazing, especially from my point of view, getting into it. I've had so much support from yourself and a few others as well. Getting into it, you can see that there's that connection and there's that love for something you all have something passionate about
Absolutely.
about it. And everyone has their own style and it's always different, but the way that everyone just sort of almost rallies behind another person and really hype up someone else and just
Totally.
really give that positive feel back to something is really amazing. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I think that is probably enough about us for now.
Yeah, I think we've
Um,
waffled on enough there about us.
so let's tell you all a little bit about the show. So, Cosplay, Togs, and All Things Nerdy. What is it? What's it about? What's our aims? What's our goals? And it kind of came about really. I'd been sort of putting plans and ideas in place for a little while now about putting some sort of streaming or podcast channel together. Um, there's various things happened over the last couple of years in the community, and there's been various changes. And a lot of people have probably seen at times I've been a little bit vocal about that on socials, and I've always got something I want to say.
That
Um,
doesn't sound right.
um, so I just, I've been working on plans to put something together. It's difficult to do it by yourself. Life gets in the way. There's always um, something else you need to do. And me and Switch got talking, and he got similar ideas.
Yeah.
So we said, right, let's join forces,
Let's see what happens.
give it a go, put something together. And yeah, so we want to talk about things cosplay, photography related, cosplay events related. Um, but yeah, other stuff as well. So everything that kind of goes along with it. So
Yeah.
gaming, TV shows, movies, um, important topics like keeping yourself safe, but also like shows about hints and tips for new photographers that might want to get into it.
I
Yeah,
suppose
I
also
mean,
trying to build that community together as well. It's
absolutely.
taking what's already established, giving people a platform to really kind of get their views, their thoughts, and we are very. I don't want to say we're a split community because we're not. We have got obviously cosplayers and then we've got photographers. Obviously, that's the split there, but
Yeah,
we're all there for the same purpose. I think there is a lot of questions that a lot of people have between the two different groups and stuff like that to kind of really understand where both sides come from, and
definitely.
it's going to be good to have sort of an open discussion and just really get bits and pieces from both sides.
Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
definitely along the way, we are going to obviously in later episodes have guests from both photographers and cosplayers across the board over episodes, and so we're obviously not going to just keep hearing from us. We're going to obviously have others out there to come in and give their thoughts and their opinions on bits and pieces throughout the series of shows we
Absolutely.
hopefully do.
I mean, we've got, with just some of the topics we've got, that there's already a better understanding now, I think, between the two sides, the cosplayers and photographers. Each side has a much better understanding now than they used to. But I still, I think there's a lot that people can do. And there's a lot that people want to do to learn more, to embrace both sides. So some of the things we've got coming up, our first episode is actually going to be quite an important one. So we're going to be chatting about con safety and con etiquette. So we're going to be filming that in the next couple of weeks. We're going to have two amazing cosplayers on the show, who most of you will probably know. Some of you will probably have worked with. But two people that we consider to be, very highly regarded in the cosplay community. And two people that I think will be very, very well received on this particular topic. We're going to be talking about a subject that's come up in conversation a lot recently is the influx of not only cosplayers but influencers into the cosplay community since the pandemic. The overall state of the UK con scene at the moment versus some of what's going on over the water in Europe, a lot of the photo cons and things like that that are becoming really popular. As we already mentioned, sort of cosplay photography gear, tips, hints, and maybe how to get into it if you're new. There's a lot of bad information out there that you have to have this particular type of gear, you have to have the best camera. We're
And I've got
gonna
to shoot on these
hopefully,
settings constantly, or
we're going to hopefully expel some of the myths that are out there and sort of get down to some of the basics. We're going to have a chat about, in a future episode, about social media and the minefield that is social media. It's a huge topic. We're going to hopefully get some guests on board that will be able to talk about that. So if you're out there and you are you work really, really well on social media, you've got, dare I say it, a reasonably high following, and you can help give people any tips and advice on how best to navigate social media and how to build your platform organically, please drop us a message if you'd be interested in being on the show. And the same with any other of these topics that we're mentioning. If any of them sort of connect with you and you go, oh, I'd love to talk about that, get in touch. We will be looking for guests from all sides of the community, which kind of leads on to another topic that we are going to be talking about at some point, and that's mental health in the cosplay community. That's a huge topic.
Yeah,
I
massive,
certainly
massive
don't
topic.
profess to be an expert. But one thing I will say is I've been through things in my life that really hit me hard and really knocked me for six. And there were a lot of people in this community that really helped me through those times. So yeah, we're going to be talking a little bit about mental health at some point, and you know, not try and teach people to suck eggs and tell them things they already know. We're not counselors, but maybe try
It's
and
more of an awareness,
help
really, isn't
people.
it?
Yeah,
It's
more of a raise an awareness thing, and maybe help people to spot people that you might be right next to that might be suffering, that might not be saying anything. Um,
and all we can really do is talk about it in from regards from our own
Absolutely,
experiences, because
totally.
I've been through my own bits and pieces where it has been very vocal over the last 12 months on social media from my point of view. But for me, that was something that helped personally. But we're going to talk about it because it is a topic that is worth discussing and
Totally.
breaking it down and trying to, if it helps someone, excellent.
Great.
That's all we can ever ask for.
Yeah. We're also going to be talking about something else that's quite big at the minute, and that's cancel culture in the cosplay community and people's general behaviour. There's been a bit of an influx of the whole cancel culture and trial by social media, and it's not always the right way to go about things. And there's been some things that have gone around. So we'll be having a chat at some point about both sides of that. How to, if you are a victim of something, and maybe how best to deal with it in the right way. But also, you have been a victim of cancel culture when you may not have done anything wrong.
Oh yeah,
It happens. People get things wrong. People sometimes just decide to be dicks and decide to try and cancel you. Also, understanding UK cons themselves, there's different types of conventions.
very
So
wide,
that'd be a
different, broad.
topic in itself. Photo cons that are more guest orientated, cons that are more geared around your general cosplay scene. So that as well. One topic we do want to talk about at some point is accessibility and disability within the community. There's often a lot of talk about that, especially around event times, and some events get it right, some events get it wrong. Some events are easier to deal with than others, but we also want to chat to people about maybe some of the issues they may have had at events, and not just disabilities that are visible either. There's a lot of disabilities out there that you can't see, and you're often treated differently, even though you shouldn't be. Sometimes you might go to an event, you might be questioned, or you don't look disabled. Well, that's not right. And there's a lot of things out there that we can talk about on that topic. And that thing is particularly one that we'd both like to invite people to get in touch if you would want to be a part of that show. We don't have a date set up for it yet, but it's a big topic, and we definitely want to bring a few things to the forefront. And if it helps people, great. If it helps raise awareness to events out there, even better. But yeah, it's just as I'm scrolling through the list of topics we've got a ton of stuff.
Yeah, it's not all going to be sort of I wouldn't want to say doom and gloom. We're not going to talk about just the hard hitting topics within this community. We're also going to have a bit of laughter, a bit of fun. Obviously, the nerdy part needs to come out.
Definitely.
We're both big nerds here, and a lot of people in the community are as well. So we'll talk about films, we'll talk about TV, games, interesting things that's going on out there at the moment as well that are present, bits and pieces like that. There is a few subjects I want to talk about, and obviously I want to highlight, and that's obviously speaking with the Secret Con team, because obviously they've created something that has definitely been good, and that'll be the first time Darren will probably not be a host of the show and will be a guest, and we will bring in a co-host to help out with that one. But I feel like it's a good subject to talk about. It's a very different convention, it's a different feel, vibe, and whatnot. So we will have an episode dedicated to that. But also not going to be just about photography. We're going to look obviously cosplayers.
Yeah,
There's some amazing people out there who have that capability of making some outstanding cosplays from
just some
foam,
next level talent out
3D printing, whatever. And we want to talk to them. We want to get them on the show, and we want them to kind of be like, "How do you get into it?" Talk about their whole process and how they've done it. There's some amazing
there.
people
Absolutely.
out there, and really want to highlight their excellence as well. 'Cause it's not just about us as photographers, because yes, we're both photographers, but it's not just
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, just sticking on the fun nerdy things as well. Sometimes we might just, we might have a phone in, and just
Do a
we
live
might just
and
be geeking out, talking about nerdy things. Do a live phone in with people where people can phone in with views and questions on the topics we're talking about. I don't know. We may even do a pub quiz or something. There's
it's
a million
endless.
and one ideas out there that we can run with. But we're also open to your ideas and suggestions as well. So we put up a bit of a question thing on our socials. Our socials, by the way, cosplay.togs.all.things.nerdy. Link should be coming up at the bottom of the video soon. So if you don't already, give us a follow. We'll be putting up, we'll be refreshing the story that we put up asking for people's questions and maybe suggested topics that you'd like to hear us talk about or that you'd like to be a part of talking about. Because at the end of the day, this is not our show, this is your
it's
show.
a show for everyone. Yeah.
We want this show to be more of a community podcast. We want to chat about things. We want to geek out. We may want to vent occasionally about things that have happened. But we want also to give you guys an outlet to talk about things you love and maybe the things that you want to vent about. Or just tell us about, raise awareness, come and tell us how you got into it. As Switch said, there's a million and one things.
I don't think there's a wrong subject really.
No.
We can discuss.
No.
It could just be talking about. Let's avoid the weather because it's England. It's pretty naff. But but we got all sorts of bits and pieces we've got planned. It doesn't have to be focused. We can talk about anything. It's like we could have a whole episode on
Deadpool and
Deadpool.
Wolverine. We can't talk about Deadpool and Wolverine apparently because still not everyone's seen it.
I draw the limit when it's like, well, hang on, it's been out for what, over a month now. I mean, and the fact that the actors in it are shoving out spoilers left, right, and centre. I think you're pretty safe to talk about it now.
We can talk about it now. I mean, to be fair, I was about a week late going to see it because it came out whilst I was at MegaCon Manchester, and I was fortunate enough to have already had tickets sorted out through Cineworld. As Cineworld Sheffield used some of my images for their promotion. So yeah, I kind of had to wait a little bit of time. But yeah, I loved it. I know it's, to some people, I think it's a bit of a Marmite film. I personally loved it. I loved the whole satire humour about it. It was great. And then the flip side of that, tonight I'm off to see Alien Romulus, which Alien's another big love of mine. Being sci-fi related and all that. So
I mean, I love Alien, but
another half along.
I did say to Darren in the message the other day. I was like, I don't know if I'm up for seeing it in the cinema yet. I think I might have to watch it on a Sunday afternoon when it's bright outside and it's not light. When it's light, not a massive fan of the facehuggers. Just freak the crap out of me.
No, and I think from what I've seen, I think they do feature quite highly in this one again, which is great.
Yeah, I saw some of the clips for it, and it just. I want to go see it, but I'm also like, yeah, I don't feel like I want to scream like a girl in the cinema.
I was chatting to someone that went to the premiere the other day, and they actually did say that I'm in for a real treat. Apparently, it is as good as we think it's going to be. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah, no, it's definitely got me wanting. I mean, they've got them on Disney at the moment. I feel like sitting there and watching through them all a little bit and refreshing my memory on some of it, but. Yeah, it might be one of them. I might go, but it'll be at a later date. But I'm not worried about spoilers in regards to that.
I watched Alien. I was flicking through the TV last night, and Alien Covenant was on, and I hadn't seen that one because Prometheus was so bad. And it was all right. But I'm just hoping that, obviously, where Alien Romulus kind of slots into the timescale, which I believe is kind of like between Alien and Aliens.
I think so, yeah.
What I've read. So, hopefully it works well. I would have loved to have seen Ridley Scott as a director. rather than a producer, but at least he's on the team. So I think I've got, quite high hopes for it. I hope. That's,
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty
just
sure it'll
get me
be
wrong, but
a good one as well. If it's going to knock Deadpool off the list, off the top lot, I don't know.
I don't think anything's going to do that for a long time.
Yeah, that one's gonna be there for a bit. That one, yeah,
Yeah,
that was good.
it was.
It was definitely a trip down memory lane for Fox. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's a
Yeah,
lot
it
of
was
news,
just
and a lot of news dropped after that, because obviously it was around the same time as San Diego Comic Con over in the States.
yeah,
So a lot of Marvel out. But yeah, I mean, we could probably sit here for ages talking about different geeky things, but we'll keep that for another
yeah.
episode
We'll keep
anyway,
it
probably.
simple.
I think there is going to be some other exciting things that we have discussed that we want to do, especially around cons. So, I mean, if you can remember this, Darren, we're going to talk about setting up like almost like a little mini competition, but not
Yeah,
a competition as such. But it's going to be, we get 3 or 4 photographers, a cosplayer, so it will be predetermined. So what we want to try and do is looking at different styles, different shooting techniques, and taking a cosplayer and all 4 of us shooting, but not having a clue how the other photographer has set it up, posing and whatnot, and locations and stuff like that.
yeah,
So we'll obviously need to get like an assistant or someone like that to go around with the cosplayer, and do bits and pieces with them. And then after that con, and once whoever the photographers are doing the little challenge at a con, we'll get them together on a podcast, and we'll have a look at the images, and we'll just see the different creativity from it all.
I'm looking forward to that one, actually. I think probably the best way to do it is if we maybe have, like say, maybe ourselves and then maybe 2 or 3 other Togs. We like say pick a single cosplayer in a set cosplay, and we just pick time schedules for each of the Togs to shoot with that person throughout the day. We'll have someone that's going to be the designated assistant to help out. And that photographer can take that cosplayer wherever they want at the con, shoot however they want, use whatever gear they want, shoot it their way. And the same with the edits. And then we will get together, all of us on a show afterwards, including the cosplayer, and we'll chat about the images, and we'll get the photographers to discuss and tell us why they shot it that way. Why they shot that style, why they use that lighting, why they use that location. Just tell us. It'll give us a little bit of an insight into each of the photographers themselves and the different styles.
And then I think down the road we'll try and do it. So I think me and Darren will probably take part in the first one, and then over time we'll step back a little bit from it. And
we may even
get your input. We'll get people voting in to say if they're interested in doing it and taking part in this little, I wouldn't say competition, but a little bit of fun, and let's just change it around. It changes a con a little bit and make it a little bit different, and give something to look forward to outside of it as well, so we can really play around with ideas.
The other idea we want to do at some cons is we want to start sort of going around and interviewing a few people as well. So we'll maybe have set topics at certain times at certain cons, and we'll just put together a short list of questions for cosplayers and photographers, and we'll do some. Sometimes it'd be pre-recorded interviews we'll do at events. Sometimes we might set up a little area and get people to come over to us, or we'll grab people as we go around. We might go around together, we might go around separately. I think we aim to do some live stuff from some of the events as well.
It is, it's the goal to eventually be able to get on a panel, maybe, and sit down and do maybe like a live podcast from a con and have a bit of fun with it. Do a Q&A and whatnot.
I know a really good photo con where I could probably get us in, actually.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I mean, I hear the main guy's a bit of a weirdo, but
he is a bit. But yeah, so yeah, as you can see, there's lots we want to talk about, but I promise you, it won't just be us two sat in front of a camera and a microphone every episode. The majority of the time, the focus is going to be either on us as a team with other photographers and cosplayers, or there'll be times where we just get people on and we're just interviewing them from their perspective and telling us about them. So you won't just be looking at our ugly mugs for 30 minutes to an hour on each episode. Sometimes we may not even video it. Some
Might
episodes
just be
may
an audio.
be audio only. So,
Or
but
we'll do
yeah,
a lot, or do a live stream down the road and get a lot of audience participation, so you can come and log in,
absolutely.
and we can have that sort of bits and pieces there from you guys. But I also want to reiterate, we're not just looking for people who have a high and large following. We're looking for anybody.
Oh, totally.
So you could be someone that has one follower to, I don't know, let's go outstandishly amazing with like 1 million followers.
Yeah,
All right, so we want everyone's opinion. We don't want to just sit with people who are been here for ages. We also want people that are new and get your opinions
exactly.
and bits and pieces and
Exactly.
help grow as a community.
If you're passionate about what you do and you want to talk about it, then you'll be welcome on our show at some point on one of the topics that suits you. So, as we said, feel free, check out our socials. Which will pop up again at the bottom. There'll also be in the text for this this video, and get in touch. Tell us what you want to talk about, and yeah, let's get you on and let's get something scheduled in.
Yeah, let's have some fun with it and see where it goes from there. But
Totally. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's about it from us for now. So once again, I'm iPhoto UK.
I'm Switch.
And this is Cosplay, Togs, and All Things Nerdy. And we'll leave it at that. And hopefully we'll see you all again soon.
Yeah, keep an eye on socials for the next episode. And yeah, take it easy.
Take care.
Bye.